Who is this unique audience that defies traditional demographic definitions? What does this seemingly disparate group of individuals have in common? They are all interested in the continent of Africa. Some have an interest in news and current events in Africa. Others seek to invest there. Some wish to travel there, and others seek a place to volunteer or a destination for their charitable donations. Some seek African arts and culture to nourish their global passions. This group of individuals shares one thing in common. They are the visitors to Africa.com. Africa.com, changing the way the world sees Africa.
While I have lots to say about Africa, I was born in Africa. My parents were, my grandparents were. I'm in Africa quite regularly, and I cover it.
48% have a title that includes the word chairman, chief, honorable, director, president, manager, partner, or owner.
I'm certainly glad to be up here talking about Africa and actually having somebody listen. I've been talking about Africa since 1976 when I first joined the Foreign Service.
31% have annual household income over $100,000, and 11% have annual household income over $200,000.
Working in the U.S. government, both at the Pentagon initially, but also at the National Security Council, at the White House, at the State Department, and then overseas as the ambassador to South Africa.
46% own a personal investment product such as stocks, mutual funds, a 401k, or an IRA.
It really is truly a remarkable growth story. As the world starts to repair itself economically, it's still a standout.
64% are influential, defined as having been asked for guidance in their place of work in the last 3 months.
Listen, I think for any of us as historians, what we're trying to do is to change the way people think. And so certainly what it has done is it's revised people not only the way they think about colonial Kenya.
They are 2.4 times more likely to vote and 2.1 times more likely to volunteer.
And I started an organization called Acumen, and at the center of it is this idea of patient capital.
81% have some college or a college degree, and 27% have a graduate degree.
Did a master's and actually went on and did a doctorate in epidemiology and health policy and management and biostatistics. In that period of time, I formed some friendships which led me to become involved with this organization, Rebuild Africa.
68% will travel overseas in the next 18 months.
I think that's probably a great way to get this trip started. It gives you a real grounding and understanding of the history here and the founding not only of South Africa, but the entire continent of Africa as a whole.
60% are white or Asian, 20% are African, and 17% are African American.
It's a pleasure and a privilege for me to stand in this room and look out at the current and future leaders of Africa.
53% are male and 47% are female.
I'm Jake Bright, Foreign Policy Association Whitehead Fellow, focusing on African business and finance.
Their median age is 34.
African fashion and styling that is a reminder of perhaps cultural responsibility, but also the freedom to be constantly redefined.
This group of individuals shares one thing in common. They are the visitors to Africa.com. Africa.com, changing the way the world sees Africa.